Look, when Joe Rogan raises an eyebrow, the internet loses its mind. But this time, he didn't just raise an eyebrow, he raised the entire timeline, because one body language expert just dissected Erika Kirk like a psychology class mid-finals, and what they found had Rogan's jaw doing a full Rogan stretch. Yeah, buckle up, we're diving into the 10 jaw-dropping facts behind the most viral grief-turned-mystery moment on the internet. The smile that broke the internet. Look at this clip. A woman steps forward. Her husband, a public figure, a leader, a lightning rod, has just been taken from her in front of the entire world. The internet expects tears, trembling hands, silence, but instead, she smiles. Not the polite smile you give to hide pain, not the tight, nervous kind that flickers and fades. No, this was bright, confident, radiant, a smile that said, "I'm okay." And that right there was the moment everything cracked open. Because that single expression, that one smile, turned what should have been a private tragedy into a global spectacle. Millions of people froze the frame. Screenshots spread like wildfire. Memes, threads, breakdowns, and TikTok edits flooded every corner of the internet. Some called it grace under pressure. Others called it chilling. But everyone agreed on one thing. Something about that smile didn't feel right. It wasn't grief. It was composure. Too much composure. And in the 24/7's outrage economy, composure looks like guilt. Within hours, the clip hit every platform from Reddit to X. Comments piled up like a courtroom transcript built by strangers. Is she smiling? Wait, why is she smiling? Who smiles like that at their husband's memorial? And suddenly, the widow wasn't a mourner anymore. She was a mystery. But here's where it gets complicated. Body language experts began weighing in. Not tabloids, not gossip accounts. Actual analysts who study micro expressions, tone shifts, subconscious gestures. And what they found only deepened the divide. According to one expert, what we saw wasn't joy. It was performance control. In psychology, they call it emotional masking, the brain's last-ditch effort to maintain control when your world collapses. But another analyst disagreed, pointing out what's known as a Duchenne smile, the rare, genuine kind where your eyes crinkle naturally. The corners of Erika's eyes, they said, weren't faking it. That wasn't a coping mechanism. That was real emotion, real happiness. And that's when the conspiracy oxygen ignited. Because if that smile was genuine, if she was truly happy, then what exactly was she happy about? Cue the theories. Some claimed it was denial. Others whispered about PR training, optics management, narrative reframing, and then came the darker ones. The kind that start in comment sections and end in hour-long YouTube breakdowns. Theories about replacement, manipulation, psychological detachment, even hints that she might have known more than she let on. But here's the paradox. The more people analyzed that smile, the less they agreed on what it meant. Because that's the thing about digital emotion. Once a moment hits the algorithm, it stops belonging to the person in it. It belongs to everyone watching, and everyone projects their own meaning onto it. A widow's composure became a conspiracy, a smile became a scandal, and an act of human control became an internet autopsy. Still, one question lingered under every thread and theory. Was that the smile of a woman holding it together, or a woman holding something back? Because just when the internet thought it had Erika Kirk figured out, she vanished. No posts, no interviews, no statements. And that's when the mystery went from speculation to obsession. Joe Rogan's "wait, what" moment. Every story needs a spark, and in this one, that spark came from a man with a mic, a whiskey glass, and 15 million listeners. Joe Rogan wasn't trying to start a war. He was doing what he always does, riffing, thinking out loud, questioning the story no one else dared to. But then, he said it. 6 simple words that hit harder than a headline. There's more to this story. That's it. No names, no details, no follow-up, just a pause, a look at his guest, that signature Rogan squint, and then silence. And that silence was deafening. Within hours, TikTok editors had clipped it, YouTubers titled it "Joe Rogan Knows Something." Twitter threads were spun tighter than conspiracy corkboards, because in Rogan's world, a vague sentence isn't vague, it's a code. And the internet loves a code. Think about the timing. Erika Kirk had just gone viral for that strange, haunting smile. People were already whispering, theorizing, dissecting, and then, out of nowhere, Rogan, the internet's unofficial referee of reality, drops that line like a loaded statement. He didn't accuse, he implied. An implication in the algorithm age is gasoline. Podcasts, reaction channels, and Reddit sleuths went berserk. Every syllable of Rogan's tone got replayed, slowed down, analyzed. Was he holding something back? Was there a guest guest who said too much off air? Did he know something we didn't? One creator even zoomed in on his face mid-sentence and said, "You can see it." He knows. That's the look of someone who's seen the files. The phrase "seen the files" trended for 48 hours straight. No files existed, of course, but that didn't matter. The truth didn't need to exist, it just needed to sound plausible. And here's where things got crazy. A week later, clips began resurfacing from older Rogan episodes. Moments that fans claimed were foreshadowing. Little throwaway comments about media misdirection, crisis actors, manufactured outrage. None of it was connected until the internet connected it. That's when the theory mutated. Rogan wasn't just suspicious, he was signaling. He'd seen something, he knew something, he couldn't say it outright. And suddenly, Joe Rogan, the man who built his empire on talking, became the internet's most powerful non-verbal communicator. But here's the irony. Rogan never followed up. He moved on, talked about elk meat, UFC, AI, mushrooms. Meanwhile, the internet was burning with questions. His silence became the story, because when Rogan stops talking about something, people assume it's not over. It's just off the record. Even mainstream outlets started to bite. Does Joe Rogan know more about the Kirk case? One headline asked. Rogan's cryptic podcast comments spark speculation. Another wrote. The man hadn't said a word since, and yet his nothing became everything. Why did it hit so hard? Because Rogan has what psychologists call cultural credibility bias. When someone who rarely pushes narratives suddenly questions once, people listen. And in a world drowning in noise, silence from someone like Rogan sounds like a scream. But there's something deeper here, something even Rogan probably didn't anticipate. He didn't start a conversation, he started confirmation season. Every fan, every critic, every commentator went hunting for what he must have meant. Every clip, every quote, every pause became a clue in a puzzle that never existed. That's the danger and the brilliance of the Rogan effect. He doesn't have to prove anything, he just has to wonder out loud. And the internet will build the proof for him, because after Rogan's "wait, what" moment, the audience didn't just ask questions, they went digging. And what they thought they found next made the smile, the silence, and the story collide in a way no one saw coming. The smile that science can't ignore. Freeze the frame. There it is. The moment that broke the internet. Erika Kirk, days after her husband's death, standing under bright lights and smiling. Not a polite PR smile, a real one. The kind that reaches your eyes. The kind that says, "I'm fine," even when you shouldn't be. And that's exactly what set the world off. Because when scientists started analyzing it, things went from huh to holy asterisk T. Experts spotted what's called a Duchenne smile, the rare kind of grin that's physically impossible to fake. It only appears when someone's genuinely happy. Her eyes crinkled, her pupils dilated, her cheeks lifted naturally. Translation, she wasn't pretending to be happy, she was happy. And that's the part that confused everyone, because joy and grief aren't supposed to share the same face. Psychologists call this the timing paradox, that eerie, misplaced calm some people show right after tragedy. It could mean emotional displacement, or more cynically, image management. In today's world, crying makes you weak, but smiling makes you viral. Then came the scientific split. Some experts said that kind of smile isn't joy, it's dominance, the look people give when they've regained control, which led to the question, was Erika finding peace through faith, or sending a message that she was in charge now? Her voice analysis didn't help her case. Higher pitch, faster tempo, brighter tone, all markers of excitement, not sorrow. The body said business, the story said loss. The contradiction made people's brains short circuit. The internet, being the internet, turned it into a challenge. The mirror test. Viewers filmed themselves watching her clip, only to realize they were smiling back. It's biology. We mirror emotion, but instead of mourning with her, people's brains read positivity. She didn't project grief, she projected power. Then came the faith filter. Supporters said her smile wasn't denial, it was devotion. When your worldview turns loss into purpose, one psychologist said, sadness becomes action. But the internet doesn't do nuance, it does split screens. So when they put her smile next to Vanessa Bryant's tears, the comment section wrote itself, faith or facade, peace or PR, grief or gain. And because no controversy is complete without an algorithm, AI got involved next. Emotion recognition tools scanned her footage and returned a score. 67% joy, 18% anticipation, 7% sadness, 0% fear, 0 fear. That's either elite level composure or someone who already processed the unthinkable before the rest of us knew it happened. In the end, maybe it wasn't the smile itself that unsettled people. It was the calm behind it, because calm when you shouldn't be calm feels inhuman. We don't mistrust sadness, we mistrust serenity. To some, Erika's smile was proof of grace. To others, it was a performance, a brand move disguised as bravery. But in a world where grief is content, authenticity isn't about emotion anymore. It's about optics. Erika might not have broken any rules of mourning, she just broke the algorithm's expectations of it. If one smile could shake the internet, imagine what happened when Joe Rogan grabbed a mic and hinted there was more to the story. Because that's when the calm turned to chaos, and Rogan's words became the accelerant. The no-tear cry, freeze the frame again, music swells, lights dim, Erika Kirk steps on stage, a widow turned icon, lifts her hand, chokes back a sob, but not a single tear falls. Not one. No shimmer, no smudge, no mascara streak. And the internet lost its collective mind. Clips went viral overnight. TikTok detectives slowed it down, zoomed in, rewound it like the Zapruder film of emotions. She's crying, but where are the tears? That question became the hashtag, the meme, the obsession. Then came the mascara test, perfect eyeliner, flawless foundation, movie poster makeup at a memorial. Maybe it's waterproof, maybe it's branding. Because to viewers, this didn't look like mourning, it looked like marketing. A viral breakdown noticed something even weirder. Erika's movement synced perfectly with the background music. When the piano hit, she covered her face. When it faded, she looked skyward. It wasn't emotion, it was choreography. Psychologists chimed in. When you hear crying but see no tears, your brain panics. That mismatch triggers what's called the empathy gap. You don't feel sympathy, you feel suspicion, and that's why millions felt unsettled without knowing why. A grief therapist dropped the mic with one line: real grief collapses the ego, fake grief performs it. Erika looked composed, symmetrical, perfectly lit, not shattered, but staged. Then came the AI. Emotion mapping software scanned her face and spat out cold numbers: 72% neutral, 18% joy, 10% discomfort, 0% sadness, 0 sadness. Maybe the text flawed, or maybe the mask was that good. Either way, the no tear cry became a cultural earthquake. Memes, podcasts, reaction videos, everyone had an opinion. Was it grief or PR, faith or facade, or just emotional shock in HD? Trauma experts offered the softer take. Maybe she was frozen by stress, emotionally shut down. Because when your pain becomes public property, sometimes survival is performance. But marketers saw a pattern. The clip hit viral heights exactly when Erika's public image needed a reset. Intentional or not, the dry-eyed breakdown worked. It dominated feeds, rewrote narratives, and proved that in 2025, authenticity is just another marketing strategy. By week's end, Erika's tearless cry wasn't a tragedy, it was content. If you trusted her, it was strength. If you didn't, it was manipulation. But either way, you watched. And that's all the algorithm ever wanted. If one tearless moment could hijack the internet, wait till you see what happened next. When Joe Rogan started digging for answers and the world turned into a digital courtroom with no judge, no rules, and no off switch. I'm excited. Yeah, she said that. Picture this: a grieving widow, days after her husband's public death, steps on stage before cameras and says, "I'm excited. It's weird to say I'm excited, but I am." And just like that, the internet gasped. The crowd froze, half clapped, half stared, because no one expects TED Talk energy at a memorial. Within minutes, the clip went nuclear. Hashtags like #ImExcited and #GriefGoals flooded timelines. Was it strength or PR? Because honestly, who says I'm excited at a tragedy? 1. The slip heard around the world. Psychologists call this a leakage statement, when your real feelings escape before your brain can censor them. Her tone, bright. Her breathing, calm. Her face, genuinely joyful. Translation: she wasn't barely holding it together, she was thriving in the spotlight. 2. The PR pivot crisis experts called it the pivot moment. When chaos hits, flip the tone. Don't mourn, reframe. And that's what Erika did. She turned from grieving widow to purpose-driven leader in one soundbite. When you say I'm excited in tragedy, one strategist said, you're not talking to the past, you're auditioning for the future. The power of a single word, excited, isn't just a feeling, it's a dopamine trigger. Say it and the audience feels it. So in that moment, Erika wasn't just talking, she was rewiring the crowd's emotions. A widow using a sales word at a memorial? That's either masterful or maniacal. 4. The meme machine. Then came the memes. When your husband dies, but you get the corner office. She's not mourning, she's onboarding. Brutal, viral, unstoppable. Because the internet doesn't analyze tone, it amplifies it. 5. The CEO widow art. Weeks later, later, it all made sense. Or did it? Turning Point USA announced Erika was stepping in as acting CEO. Suddenly, that excited line sounded less emotional and more promotional. Her follow-up post, just 3 words: faith over fear, minimalist, marketable, massive engagement. 6. The smile that proved too much. Body language expert Dr. G re-examined the clip and confirmed it. Erika's smile was 100% genuine, a Duchenne smile, the kind you can't fake. Her joy wasn't rehearsed, it was real, and that's what made it haunting. Was she excited about faith or about control? Nobody could tell, and that's exactly why it went viral. 7. Faith or PR. Erika framed her excitement as divine purpose, a calling through pain. Supporters saw resilience, skeptics saw branding, because when spirituality meets strategy, even belief starts to look like marketing. 8. The viral equation. Here's why I'm excited exploded. Emotion plus contradiction plus confusion equals sign viral gold. A widow expressing joy hit every algorithmic nerve. Outrage, inspiration, curiosity, all at once. The internet couldn't agree on what it meant, but it couldn't look away either. 9. The final irony. In the end, that 3-word phrase did what no PR campaign could. It made Erika unforgettable. Her husband built a movement. Erika built a moment. And in the attention economy, shock isn't scandal, it's strategy. But if you think I'm excited was her most controversial line, buckle up, because her next post, just 3 words long, turned grief into gospel and started a spiritual war online. Tweeting from the afterlife, Charlie Kirk's death didn't just make headlines, it got uploaded, dissected, and turned into data. It all began when a viral TikTok claimed that someone fed Erika Kirk's interviews into an AI emotion detector to test whether her grief was genuine or staged. The caption said, "AI doesn't lie." Millions clicked and instantly split into camps. Believers who saw proof she was faking it, and skeptics who realized we'd officially replaced empathy with algorithms. The so-called emotion AI results went viral. Erika's emotional peaks didn't appear when she talked about Charlie's death, but when she spoke about Turning Point USA's future, meaning the AI concluded she wasn't sad, she was excited. Joe Rogan picked up the story. At first he joked, "So now AI is doing grief analysis. Great, civilization's over." But then, with that trademark Rogan pause, he said, "If this data's even half true, she's not grieving, she's gearing up." That single line detonated the internet. Suddenly, AI proof became digital gospel. Charts, threads, and pseudo-forensic breakdowns flooded feeds. Emotion turned into math, and outrage into analytics. Ethicists called it digital necromancy, using algorithms to autopsy a person's soul, but the mob didn't care. Soon, creators began making AI-generated fixed versions of Erika. Deepfakes with edited tears, softer voices, slower breathing, labeled what grief should look like. In trying to expose her, they recreated her. The line between empathy and exploitation completely vanished. By the time fact-checkers debunked everything, the fake versions had already overwritten reality. Erika was no longer a person. She was a data model, a meme, a machine-rendered ghost of herself. And Rogan once again delivered the final word. We're not looking for truth anymore. We're just training the next lie. Because in the end, the AI didn't uncover anything. It performed an autopsy, not on Erika's emotions, but on our humanity. We don't want closure anymore. We just want content. But if you think the AI stopped feeding there, think again. Because what came next proved that once the algorithm smells chaos, it doesn't investigate it, it amplifies it. The chaos theory, once Joe Rogan's comments, AI evidence, and Erika Kirk's viral clips collided, the internet didn't just react, it mutated. What began as speculation turned into a full-blown content ecosystem where outrage became oxygen, and every creator, podcaster, and meme account fed the same digital wildfire. The algorithm didn't care who was right, only who kept the clicks coming. As misinformation multiplied, truth shrank, looping endlessly in recycled clips, reaction videos, and rehashed breaking updates. Chaos stopped being an accident and became a strategy. Confusion as camouflage, controversy as commerce. Erika's humanity vanished under engagement metrics, her grief repackaged into an algorithmic spectacle. In the end, the story didn't evolve. It repeated. Because on today's internet, the system isn't broken. The chaos is the system. And while Rogan was connecting dots, the internet was connecting everything else. The meme war, faith over fear, happy widow, CEO wife. Each phrase became a meme, each meme a movement. Some saw a saint, others saw a sociopath in soft lighting. By the time commentators jumped in, truth had been traded for trending. But beyond the memes and madness was something bigger. A lesson about how the internet really works. When When grief meets the algorithm, this story wasn't about one widow. It was about how we consume emotion like content. The sadder the story, the higher the click-through rate. Outrage isn't a side effect, it's the strategy. And that leads us to the final and most uncomfortable truth of all. The real shock: Rogan wasn't shocked because he knew a secret. He was shocked because we all fell for the same trap. We don't watch for truth anymore. We watch for the thrill of truthiness. Erika's smile, Rogan's pause, the expert's analysis. None of it was the story. Our reaction was. So what do you think? Grief glow up or grand illusion? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like button if your eyebrows also did a Rogan, and hit subscribe for more deep dives into where politics meets pop culture and the truth brings its own camera crew. Because on this channel, we don't just watch the drama, we diagnose it.